upload this one. Okay. Wait. Okay. So good evening, everyone. So we shall begin our discussion with world Englishes and global communication. I forgot to present my screen. Sorry. Okay, entire screen. I hope that this would be an active participation for all of the students. So let us begin. Okay. So our lesson for today is the first part of your module, World Englishes and Global Communication. So today we'll be discussing the varieties of English language. So for your module, if ever that you have browsed it, we'll be tackling 3 lessons for today. So for 1 hour. Okay, let us begin. So the objectives of this discussion is to identify the concentric countries of world Englishes, and also we'll be discussing world Englishes and branch cut through. Compare the concentric circles of world Englishes. Identify some peculiarities in the varieties of English language that cause potential problems to ESL and EFL learners, and explain how culture affects communication, and describe methods for improving cross-cultural communication. So those are the objectives for the first part of our discussion. Okay, so let us now have our first recitation. For your first recitation, again, um, I already posted the mechanics. You could turn on your mic and use the chat box. So for your recitation, what communication strategies do you think the students need to develop fluency in the target language? I repeat, what communication strategies do you think the students need to develop fluency in the target language? Okay, so I will now check the first recitation. So I'm expecting some answers, or some of you might turn on their mic, or from the chat box. Ano? Okay, so if did you understand the question? So anong klaseng
Yes.
communication strategies ang sa tingin nyo okay to develop the fluency of the students? Okay, so now I'll be asking for the responses for graded recitation. Okay. Okay. Oh, bakit wala? Where are you? Communication strategies, do you think?
Ma'am, ako
Um,
po.
sino yun?
Ma'am,
Hindi ko
raise your hand.
nakita.
Ako po.
Wait lang. Pauline.
Yes po.
Sino ba? Pauline?
Yes po.
Paulien? Okay
Check.
po. Yes.
One communication strategy that I think po na makakatulong po to develop fluency sa target language po ay yung pagiging exposed po sa language na yon through watching and reading po.
Okay, so the teacher could use activities like reading activities for students. Very good. And also watching. Yes, very good. That is very helpful, especially if you want to learn the different slangs, how to communicate, what do you call this? Reading comprehension. That's very good. Very good. How about the others? Anyone from this class? Joy Ann. Geraldine, naka-open yung mic nyo, so maybe you're...
Na-open ko pala.
sige,
I
Geraldine.
think po, pwede po, yung strategy po na pwede pong gawin ng isang instructor is to make a policy po na,
Policy,
for example
okay.
po in class, English-only policy, para mas mahasa po yung mga students nila.
Okay, so English-only policy. Actually, that's good. If ever any one of you have went to Darwin, di ba parang if ever we will go to Darwin, we will think of, those students are very well versed. Naku, English speaking school sila, baka ganito. Then actually, I went there kasi nag-proctor ako sa exam for basta exchange of schools. So I've heard them speak. Actually, they are required to speak in English. However, hindi naman siya, you don't need to be, ito yung culture na gusto ko sa kanila. For example, nag-uusap sila with friends. Yeah, yeah, you know that? Oh my gosh. So, ganun lang sila mag-usap, which is nice. Kasi, even though the vocabulary of the students tumataas little by little kasi because of the peers. Some of the peers, of course, have advanced knowledge when it comes to English language, and some of the peers do not have. So, the good thing about this one, pag lagi kagaya ng sabi ni, tama ba, ni Geraldine, nakakapag-exchange kayo ng salita, ng word, so that nag-widen yung circle. That's very good. So, those are the different communication strategies that a teacher could use in order to increase the fluency in class. So, very good, the two of you. Okay, only for turn on mics na lang at you will receive 5 points. Okay, so what if actually today, this is the second recitation. So dito naman siguro, you will, I really hope that in this one you will participate. Now let us have a story construction game. We'll be using this picture, coronavirus. Now, I want you to, kung sino yung mauna, I want you to write at least a sentence about coronavirus. Tapos kailangan halos magkakamukha kayo yung mga sasabihin. Hindi dapat mauulit. Sige nga, this is your second recitation for today. You will tell something about the picture. What do you think is the meaning of this picture, or what can you say about this picture? So just share it. You can turn on your mic or you could use the chat box. Any will do.
Ako, ma'am.
Yes, wait lang, di ko nakikita. Sino ka?
Edwin Lopez po, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, binabalot po ng yung mundo ng sakit, yung pandemic.
Okay, so binabalot, very good, Edwin. Binabalot ng sakit ang buong mundo. Okay, so very good. That's nice. How about the others?
Ma'am.
Wait lang.
Ma'am.
Yes, Trisha? Sino po bang kausap ko? Rosemary?
Ako po, ma'am.
Okay, Rosemary, yes.
Ma'am, para po sa akin, sa coronavirus na po umiikot yung mundo natin.
Okay. So sa coronavirus, umiikot ang mundo. How about Geraldine Hipolito? Very good.
Ma'am, for me, coronavirus is a disease, a very contagious disease na madaling maka-infect sa mga tao, lalo na po sa mga crowded areas.
Okay, very good. Josel Bernardo.
Ma'am, for me po, coronavirus is, siya na po, ma'am, sa kanya na po, ma'am, nakadepende po yung mga galaw po natin sa ngayon.
Okay, oo nga, totoo yan. Keanu.
Ma'am, for me po, yung coronavirus po was a vast conundrum in this world po. Kasi po, hindi na po natin makakasunan kung ano po yung tama po, kung ano po talaga yung magiging solusyon po para po sa problema na to.
Okay, so actually that's correct, ano? Kasi imagine, even the big countries, hindi nila alam yung solution, or they have a solution pero dumadami pa rin. Yes, Brian?
Ma'am, coronavirus po makes us realize what's matter the most and what we must prioritize po.
Very good. So now we know the essential. Yung gala pala natin, hindi essential. Okay, di ba? So isa-isa na napapaisip natin. So ang essential lang pala ay kumain, matulog, at maging ligtas. Okay, very good. Thank you. So we have learned the essential. Let us now read from the chat box. On that picture, our Earth has a face mask. It shows that the virus spread already in the world, in the whole world. Very good, Mark. Kirby, coronavirus, the one who controls the world right now and limit the movement of the people. This is true. Coronavirus is dangerous. Coronavirus is spreading all over the world. Coronavirus, siya yung nagpabago sa ating mundo. Actually, yes. Pero yun mo, kaya pala natin magstay sa bahay. Ano? At saka, maraming mga nawalan ng trabaho and change of jobs tsaka change of education. So we never thought that Philippines will be very accepting when it comes to this kind of environment na ayaw ng Pilipino ng ganito. Ang gusto ng Pilipino ay more on face-to-face classes talaga. So nag-iba. Even the schedule, 'di ba? Noong una ayaw pa ng Philippines na ang schedule ng klase ay gawing ganung araw kamukha sa ng September. Pero yun ang nangyari. Okay. So coronavirus helps the nature to recover. Yes. Okay. Some picture shows that the nature is little by little recovering, especially during the first lockdown. Coronavirus changes the world movement. Coronavirus, the mental health by communicating. Okay, so don't worry. Mag-comment lang kayo ng inyong answer because it will be graded by your by the leaders. Okay, so let us proceed with our discussion. Pero mag-chat lang kayo dyan for your answers. Okay. So very good. So actually, that is an example of that is an example ng tinatawag na communication strategies that the teacher could use in order to help the student. Supposedly, you will speak in English and you will try your best to use the language. So, isa yan. So, you will react on the picture. It could be from chat boxes. It could be for turn on ng mic. Ayun. So, one of this is reacting to picture. So, story construction game din siya. So, now, we will now discuss the concentric circle. So, when you say concentric circle, si Branch Catchrew is one of the most notable person na that has something to do with this one. Why? Kasi linguist Branch Catchrew publishes his first journal entitled The Indianness in Indian English. So this is a very different attack on English, Indianness in Indian English. So in this article, he lays the theoretical groundwork for the idea of world Englishes by interpreting how English is nativized in India, delineating some of its unique sociological and cultural aspects and showing that Indian English is a unique variety of English which is neither an American or British English. So this means this changed the world actually. Na, di ba tayo, we Filipinos, we would like to imitate American or British accent because that is the standard. But there's a person here that's saying from India that there is an English, a different English around the world. Hindi lang American, hindi lang British. Meron ding iba. So, Catchrew formally introduces the term world Englishes. So the teachers of English to speakers of other languages or TESOL conference along with the global profile of English. Later, he proposes the three concentric circles model. Both papers are subsequently published. So sa TESOL, if you're not familiar, kasi usually TESOL is very familiar for English students kasi this is one of the certification that we will use if we want to teach abroad or we want to teach online. But in nowadays, TESOL is very familiar with not just for those English majors but for the rest as kasi ano siya teaching English to speakers of other languages. As long as you could speak English, you could teach English regardless of your what bachelor degree you earned is fine as long as you have this TESOL. So, ano siya, TESOL is very open to different people so that they could, basta marami silang mga pinapublish na papers. Okay. So, this is the first time now we have the world Englishes. Difference in the English language that emerge as it is used in various contexts across the world. Scholars of the world Englishes identify the varieties of English used in different social linguistic contexts, analyzing their history, background, function, and influence. So dito, it is now open that every around the world there's different English. It's not just American. It's not just and even in Philippines we have Philippine English, Korean English. Okay, so now because of this paper, it is now acceptable that there are different Englishes. Okay, kaya lang sa yung Englishes hindi pa siya ina-accept sa sa Microsoft Word, hindi pa siya hindi pa siya okay. So languages develop to fulfill the needs of societies that use them. Because societies contain a diverse range of social needs, and because these needs can differ across cultures and geographies, multiple varieties of the English language exist. These include American English, British English, Australian English, Canadian English, Indian English, and so on. So that is the reason why we have a lot of English around the world. Now, if you will take IELTS, I don't know if you're familiar but if you want to go to abroad, especially in native countries, native English countries, most of you will be required to take IELTS. Now, for example, you would like to take IELTS and you will go to Canada. So you need to the listening activities and some of the words that no, not the words, but rather the context is for Canadian English. Kaya po kailangan if ever you would like to take IELTS, you should be reviewing not Philippine English, but rather the English of those part of country. Okay, so yun po yun. This is the concentric circle. So before we discuss the different countries, let us first discuss the different circles. So when we say the inner circle, this represents the traditional basis of English. Ito ang mother tongue. This means that this is the native. When we say sila yung English talaga yung kanilang the way they speak. They use English as their parang sa atin Filipino yun. So sila mga native speakers of English. That is inner circle. The outer circle, our Englishes has been institutionalized as an additional language like Philippines. English is not our first language, but it is our business language, academic language. So lahat ng mga nasa outer circle is we are well versed when it comes to English. It is an additional part of our lives, additional part of our culture. Okay, so kasama yan sa natututunan natin. And we could speak in English fluently, most of us. Now, expanding circle includes the rest of the world where English is used as the primary foreign language. Now, the good thing about outer circle, ito ang kagandahan sa ating mga Filipinos. Since our tongue is very versatile, kayang-kaya nating gayahin si American, Canadian, kahit anong English pa yan. We could cater the expanding circle. That is the reason why we are online teachers. Ayan. That's the reason why we could teach Chinese students, we could teach other nationalities. Kaya Philippines kasi the Philippines is very good. Even if we're just an outer circle, even if we're not native speakers, we are still very good when it comes to English. Yeah. So here are the different countries for the 3 concentric circles. So let us begin with the inner circle. The inner circle, as we have discussed, this is the mother tongue. Ito yung native English siya. Ito yung talagang English is ito yung first language ng mga tao. So let us begin with USA, Australia, UK, Canada, and New Zealand. So lahat siya English. And lahat yan, if you will go in that country, you need to have IELTS. Kailangan mataas ang band score mo. Even, ma'am, construction worker lang naman ako dun eh. kahit na. You need to pass IELTS kasi you need to be very good in English kasi that is um that is the main language. Ayun, si inner circle. Next is the outer circle. Ayan, tayo yan. Bangladesh, Kenya, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Ghana, Malaysia, Philippines, Tanzania, India, Nigeria, Singapore, and Zambia. So as you can see, medyo may hirap na bansa lahat, ano? Kasi yung sa inner circle, karamihan yan, yung mga nasakop ng mga puti. Kaya sila yung napunta that is the reason why magaling din sila mag-English. Karamihan yung nasakop, tsaka malapit tayo sa inner circle. So that is the reason why we are very good. So as you can see, aside from different schools, ayan yung mga, di ba kung makikita nyo, Bangladesh, di ba dyan binibili din some of that, mga sweatshops, nandyan yon sa Bangladesh. Some of the items, factories, schools, ayan na dyan sa Philippines. So that is the reason why. And the last one is the expanding circle. So the expanding circle is the rest of the world. So foreign language lang sa kanila ang English. So they are not I cannot say they're not the best, but they are they have different ways of thinking. Kasi they are not colonized by the white countries, so medyo hindi nila masyadong ano yon. And aside from that, malayo din sila. So a lot of reasons about that. So we have China, Indonesia, Korea, South Africa, Caribbean countries, Israel, Nepal, South America, Zimbabwe, Egypt, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Taiwan. So those are the different countries that is expanding circle. Yun yung kagandahan natin, my dear student. Palakas naman po. Mahina ba yung boses ko? Sorry, may I ask?
Malakas naman po.
Malakas naman po, ma'am.
Okay, my dear students, it's either mag-earphone kayo or gumamit kayo ng speaker. Kasi malakas sa kanila. Baka po may problem po sa inyo. Okay, I think so. Check nyo po yung earphone nyo kasi the rest, okay sila. Okay, so thank you. Can you check your earphone? Ayan, so the good thing about us in the outer circle is we could cater people in expanding circle and inner circle. Kasi, ang in inner circle, of course, lahat ng education parts na lahat ng educational something nasa kanila. And sila yung marami silang pera, and let's face the fact that most people here, sabi is that medyo hindi sila mahilig magtrabaho. May sabi nila, kasi I have a friend sa Amerika, bakit marami, in demand ng teacher sa Amerika, my dear students, ayan, ang subject nyo, math and science, English, and preschool are in demand in Amerika. Bakit? Kasi tayo, yung mga Filipinos, iba, sa 10,000, okay na tayo for education. Sa kanila, 100,000 plus is not okay. The salary of 100,000 mababa as for teacher. So ngayon, imbis na taasan ng sahod ng mga Amerikano, ang ginawa ng mga ibang schools, kumuha sila from the outer circle, especially Philippines. Okay, so yun yung nangyayari. And aside from that, from the expanding circle, yan, China, mga nagiging nila in China, Korea, Japan, and other Saudi Arabia, kinukuha nila is Filipinos kasi it's cheaper to learn to learn English from us. But the quality is good. So yun yung kagandahan sa atin, outer circle, because we could do both. Okay? Yun ang kagandahan sa atin. Now, the problem with this one is such peculiarities that cause potential problems to ESL and EFL learners includes the following. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng problem. So, one is orthography sa spelling. Phonology, yung speech sounds. Syntax, the arrangement of words, and semantics, the word meaning. So these are the problem of ESL, or English for Secondary Learners. So secondary learners. And EFL is foreign learners. Yan, nasa mga outer and ano yun? Inner, outer, talagang nakalimutan ko. And expanding circle. So, ito yung nagiging problem. So, phonology. There are sounds that are present in the speech inventory of one language which are not available in the speech inventory of another language. For example, Japanese do not have the L sound. So, they substitute the sound of to R as in girlfriend do or girlfriend. So, for example, if you ask them, sabihin mo nga ang, ano yun? And sometimes, pag naman if it's R, nagiging L. So, yun. So, they have problems with that one. That's why Japanese schools are using, ano tawag yung ginagamit nila? Yung, I forgot, tongue twisters. So, they're using tongue twisters to develop the Japanese students feel more on L. Okay. So aside from that is phonology. So speech sound. Filipinos do not have long sounds in English, such as I for eagle, O for pole, and for chew, and which leads, for example, to cat being cat. Okay. This is for your next activity. What Filipino? Ano yung mga nadidinig nyo na sa phonology sa Philippines? Okay, anyone? Sa Philippines, ano yung mga some words that you found that is different when it comes to pronunciation? Meron po ba? Anyone who would like to share? Yes, Angelica? Alejo?
Ma'am, internet po.
Internet. Ano yung sa internet?
Internet.
Okay, so yes, internet. Okay, kasi nga nun, sayang yung T.
Yes.
Okay. Sige, yes, Joshua Platero.
French fries po, ma'am. Sa Pilipino
O ano naman
po
sa
ay
French,
fries.
French
French
fries.
fries.
Okay, very good. What else?
Ma'am, yung ano po, yung
Yes, Juliana.
croissant.
Croissant. O, sa Filipino?
Croissant po.
Yes. So, nasumosobra. What else? Anyone?
Croissant.
Oh. Ano yun? Can you repeat? Juliana? Croissant. Oh.
Well, ano daw po, silent daw po yung T.
Okay, very good. Especially those kung saan gawa yon. Okay, Angelica Alejo?
Ma'am, yung science po.
Science. Okay, science. Science. Okay, Keanu Acabado?
Ma'am, sa chocolate po. Yung sa Philippine po, chocolate. Pero po kapag yung sa inner circle po, ang sinasabi po, chocolate.
Chocolate. Yes. Very good. That's nice.
Almond po.
Almonds. Okay, so, very good. Pauline? Jean?
Yung Xerox po.
Oh, ano yung Xerox?
It should be Xerox.
Xerox, yes. It's the Xerox machine. Pero dapat talaga photocopy machine, di ba? Okay.
Yes.
Xerox. Very good. Brian?
Ma'am, sa Philippines po, yung association, nagiging association po.
Okay. Association. Ganun yan. Okay, very good. Trisha Lazaro?
Yung ano po, ma'am, data data.
Data data. Okay. Jewel?
Yung ano po, ma'am, social media po.
Social media. Ano sa social media?
Ano po, they tend to pronounce social media.
Okay. So, social. Okay. Juliana? Okay. Feeling ko umulit na kayo. Sino ba yung hindi pa nagre-recite? Sige,
Ako po,
Juliana. Kim. Okay, Kim.
Yung ano po, yung Philippines. Dito po sa tawag na Philippines. Sa iba po, ang tawag po nila, Philippines.
Philippines. Yes, kasi PH. Okay, very good. At Tsaka, Philippines is from King, doon sa Philippines, di ba? Basta yung Hare during the Spanish era, nung inanin nila yon. Arlien, Tabuyo. Wala nang uulit, ah.
Yung
Yes.
kokwa po. Sa Philippines po minsan ang basa kakao. Sa ibang bansa
Kakao.
po, cocoa.
Oo, Coco. O, isa ka. Sa Tagalog, kokwa. Ganun. Okay. Very good. Okay, I think, last na si Erica, ha? Ay, di, si Jocelyn pala last. Pero Erica, what's yours?
Yung comfortable po.
Yes?
Comfortable po.
Comfortable. I feel comfortable. And last one, De La Cruz, Jocelyn.
Yung sa number po, yung 20 po, 20.
20, 21, 22. Okay, very good. Actually, yung, diba, yung hamburger is burger, in the burger. Yun, nakakadinig ako ng burger. Pero hindi ko in-expect that, I thought that people are just using burger for fun. Okay, so this is the first time sa Walter Mart Giginto, may nakasalubong ako. Doon, matanda, burger, kahit ay burger. Sabi ko, oh my God, may gumagamit pala ng burger. Okay, so this is the first time ko this lockdown to hear those kind of words. So, there's nothing wrong with them doing those things. Kaya lang, that is the result kasi kapag some words, some pronunciation, some letters are not available to us. Especially, abakada tayo sanay. Tsaka, para tayo sa Greek eh. Sa Greek kasi, kung paano mo siya nakita, ganun mo siya babasahin. So, kumpleto talaga. Kaya hindi tayo sanay magtanggal ng word, ng letters. So, aside from that, we also have from Koreans. Koreans do not have the English consonant sounds of F and V, and th and d, which are pronounced as p, b, t, and d, respectively, thus pronounce the phone. Ayan, yung phone, kagaya ng Philippines, nagiging phone. Okay, aside from that, ayan, ang problem natin of most of us is the orthography or the spelling. It is frequently noted that ESL and EFL students suffer in their English writing more than native speakers due to the absence of some English vowels and consonant sounds in their native or local language and the influence of their mother tongue. So, nagkakaproblema sa spelling. Okay, for example, so ito yun. So, omission. Meron tayong tinatawag na omission, substitution, transportation, insertion, or addition. So, when we say omission, leaving out letters like grammar. So, dapat grammar, nagiging grammar. Okay, nagkukulang ng M. So, omission. Substitution is replacing letters with incorrect ones. The saxophone. Kasi lalo sa Philippines, kasi yan naman talaga yung basa. Eh, hindi eh. Kulang. It should be saxophone with X and PH. Okay, transportation. Ayan, itong believe na to. Minsan nakakalito si believe and relieve. Okay, so ba't ba kasi nalilito si I, E, tsaka E? Ay, ayan. And insertion or addition is adding extra letters like 40 to 40. O nga naman kasi 4D naman yun eh. Bakit tinanggal pa yung U? Minsan ganun. Especially, for example, nagmamadali ka, yung tinatawag na nabobobo ka. Ano ba to? Anyari. Alam ko naman to. I know this one. This is from elementary. But sometimes we forgot. That is not because they're bobo for some person, but because this is the result of one of the result ng difference kasi we are not native speakers. And syntax, arrangement of words. English, Taiwan, French, and other languages use subject, verb, object. Pattern, Japanese, Korean, Indian use subject, object, verb, and Filipinos is the VSO. So let's have this one. So in English, SVO, the snake killed the dog. Okay. So we have the object, the snake. Killed is the verb and the dog. So, complete object yon and complete subject. So, pwede na yun sa snake, killed dog. Okay. Japanese. Sono hebi inu koroshita. So, subject, object, and verb. So, naiba. And Filipino, VSO, pinatay ng ahas ang aso. Okay. So, those are the different examples of that. Next, in Korean, grammatical categories have no clear correspondence with those in English. This may result in Korean EFL students using a noun where English would have an adjective. For example, I cannot come to school today because I am illness. So for some people, for teachers like us, we need to correct that. And actually, some Filipino students have this kind of problem because, especially, I have noticed that when kids are starting to learn adjectives and this one, so nadadagdag nila. So this is additional for them. So sometimes, and especially, nagkakalito-lito na din kasi. We also have semantics. So one of my favorite is meanings of certain words or expressions in one language may differ in another language. For example, the English meaning of the word salvage is to save. Pero to Philippines, salvage means to kill. Kasi daw ganito yon. Before, there was a newspaper, marami yatang na-salvage na bangkay. What happened is, na-salvage, nakuha yung bangkay. Kaya lang, the problem with us, Filipinos, when we saw that, we thought nasalbahe yung mga bangkay. Kaya, ang ano natin, pag sinabing it was salvage, pinatay. But rather kasi, during that news article, maraming na-salvage, maraming nakuhang bangkay. So, na-save yung mga katawan. Okay? So, that's the problem. So, kaya nagkaroon ng ibang meaning. Kasi nga, di ba, we are blended by English, American, and also Spaniard. So, yung mga words natin before, yan, salbahe. Ngayon kasi hindi masyado. But before, during the period, yung mga lolo't lola natin, isa yon. Okay. Next is, moreover, some ideas that are conveniently expressed with a single word in one language may need an entire sentence in one another. For example, sa atin, meron tayong kilig. To any one of you, what is the meaning of kilig? What is the English of kilig? Anyone, pag-open na lang kayo ng mic. Kilig.
Smirk po, ma'am.
Smirk. Is it the literal translation? Or, as in yun yung, kilig is smirk? Tama po ba? Tama
Hindi
ba?
po.
Hindi. But we are using that. Ay, by the way, ano nga ulit yung pangalan mo para ma-record ng nagre-recite? Hindi kasi
Brian
lumalabas.
po, ma'am.
Brian. Okay, so either. Okay, so bakit may other additional word? May smirk. Kasi it is the common term used especially in books. Ayan, sa books na nakikita, we could see that in books that smirk yung ginagawa ng babae or lalaki after nila mag-date or while thinking of this person, may ganon. But it's not the direct translation of that one. So sometimes it needs more and more. Bakit alam yan ng kaklase nyo, kaklase nyo na ngayon? Tama, ang science at math, isa kayo ng kaklase. So bakit alam ni Brian yan? Maybe because he is exposed to books so that he could associate. Pero it's not because it is the direct, but rather because of the association na ginagamit sa libro, which is very good, Brian. So you're using your reading comprehension very well. Okay. So, for example, Hawaiian aloha is a quick goodbye or hello, in which Filipinos will normally say, kumusta ka? For hello. Paalam or mauna na ako for goodbye. So, may mga ibang may word meaning, di ba? I remember, ito na naman tayo. Pasensya na ako, I always inject. So, although this is related to the lesson, when I was in high school, nilibre ko ng tita ko sa jeep. Kapampangan ng tita ko. Tapos, sabi niya, kasi ano na yun malapit na, hindi pa ako bababa. Kaya lang kasi sabi niya, tara. Ibig sabihin pala nung tara, aalis siya. Hindi ko alam. Akala ko niyayaya niya ako. Sabi niya, tara, bumaba ako ng jeep. So, siguro bago sa sakayan, mga 5 minutes walk pa siya, tapos papasok ako, late na ako nun. Kasi sabi ni tita, tara daw. Tapos sabi niya, Oh, ba't bumaba ka? Ano po, may bibilin po ako sa tindahan. So, 'di ba? So some words, even in Philippines, yung kain, hindi ka niyayayang kumakain. But rather, he's saying, uy, kumakain ako Okay, diyan ka lang, huwag kang mo kung ano. Ganun yon. So, sometimes, some words, even in Philippines, meron tayo nagiging problem. So, aloha in some words, kasi ma'am, hi, hindi naman kasi ang inuusap natin is the Filipino term. So, aloha is kumusta. Pero, it's not hi pa din eh. It's, if you will directly translate kumusta ka, kagaya nung kilig and smirk, kumusta ka is, you're asking how are you, 'di ba, in English eh. Hindi pa din yun aloha na hi. Okay, so 'di ba? So that's, as you can see, that's the different kasi may mga iba-iba tayong words na ginagamit. So, katapos na tayo doon. We are now in our second lesson, the standard and non-standard English. Now, for your next recitation, what do you think is the difference between standard English from non-standard English? May I know, ano yung pagkakaalam nyo dun sa pinagkaiba ng dalawa? What is the difference between standard English from non-standard English? Okay, so we could type, or you could open your, yes, hindi ko nakita, sino to? Geraldine.
Ma'am, for me po, yung standard English po, ito po yung mga ginagamit sa halimbawa po, pag formal yung mga debate po, mga announcements, ganun po.
Okay.
Tapos yung non-standard naman po, ito po yung more on, kasama mo po yung sa, ito po yung mga sinasabi natin kapag na hindi siya formal. Kumbaga parang informal po. Halimbawa sabihin natin kasama yung friends, families, ganun po.
Okay. How about Josel? I saw your name. Josel Bernardo.
Ano po, ma'am? For me po yung standard po, ma'am, ano po. Para po siyang ibang level po, ma'am. Ganon.
Ibang level. Ganon?
Para po may, para po may policy, ganon, pang matataas pong event, ganon po. Tas po,
Okay,
ma'am,
so the rules. Very good.
tas po yung non-standard, ano po, ma'am, feeling, pakiramdam ko po, ma'am, yun po yung parang, sige, magsalita ka, ganon.
Okay, very good. How about Keanu? Thank you, Giselle.
Ma'am, yung sa standard English po, gumagamit po sila ng correct grammar po or full
Correct
sentences
grammar.
po. Yes po.
Okay, very good. Thank
How
you.
about yung while po sa non-verbal, non-standard English po, hindi po sila gumagamit ng correct grammar po and napakalit po ng or minimal lang po yung sentences po nila.
Okay, very good. Arlene?
For me po, sa tingin ko po yung standard English, yung ginagamitan po ng pattern. Tapos po yung non-standard yung wala.
Okay, so pattern, same as rules. Joshua? Okay, wala si Joshua. Juliana?
Ma'am, yung standard English po yan. Parang, for example po, kunwari po tayo po sa lesson po, parang English policy po, parang ganun po. Tapos po, yung idea po sa non-standard po, parang, sige po, pwede ka po mag-Taglish, parang ganun po.
Okay, sige. And Desiree, last one. For those, by the way, before Desiree speaks, yung mga hindi nakakapag-recite, you could still use the chat box po. Doon nyo po ilagay kasi counted pa rin yan.
Ma'am, nasa chat box na po.
Okay, si Edwin. Last one si Edwin.
Ma'am, sa akin po yung standard po yung yung tag dito, formal language po. Tapos po sa non-standard po yung very informal language.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So now I'm reading. So Old English, standard, grammatically correct, formal, okay, grammar. Okay, very good. Sabi nila more, fluently using English words. Okay. So kindly continue adding your answers here in the chat box. So let us proceed. All of your answers are actually correct. Kasi standards are used in academic places. At meron siyang, it is formal. That is the reason why most of your answers are correct. Let us now have the definition. According to Langnan, 2003, he defines standard English as one, a most highly polished form of spoken and written English used by educated people. Has prestige and status and is considered as the most desirable form of language. Kasi it is the standard. Although the problem with English, especially the American English, napakadaming rules at saka overlapping rules. So there's a problem with that. Also, writers and speakers have a much better choice of understanding and being understood and of getting what they want. Because when you are writing using English, some of, especially for example, kagaya na sabi ng one of your classmates, fluent. Okay, if you're fluent in using English, most people will believe in you. Kasi, especially in Philippines, we always believe the people who can speak English fluently. Ay, talino. Ay, talino to. Ganito. So, that's one of the things that you could have if you will use standard English. No matter what kind of job you prepare for your college, you need to know standard English to keep abreast with this age information. My dear students, I don't know if how your teachers taught you using math and science, but you must teach in English. The medium of instruction for mathematics and science is not Filipino. It is English. So that is why you don't have the you cannot use that as a reason na, ma'am, di naman po ako English major eh. Kailangan Tagalog tayo. No. You must speak in English. Okay? So, especially some parents in junior high school and elementary will not allow their kids na hindi English ang ginagamit ng teacher. Marereklamo po kayo sa admin. So, you need to speak in English fluently. And you need to learn how to teach math and science in English po. Okay? So, also, not being well-versed, you're likely to be left behind, confined to hard manual and hard labor. Yun daw. So, one of the things yun. At saka kasi, actually, this is based on experience. My cousin, IT yun eh. IT yung tinapos niya, hindi siya makapasok. Hindi siya makapasok kasi nagkakaproblema siya sa English. While, one of my kamag-anak din namin, hindi siya natapos ng college. Pero, well-versed siya sa English. That's why, nagiging boss pa siya sa call center. Kaya na internet. Call center. Okay. So, isa yun. So, you need to learn how to speak in English. Especially teachers. Okay? Mahirap na nga yung math and science eh. Saka dapat di kayo nagra-rattle. Okay, so there are different characteristics of standard English. One, the working language in the academe, in the government, in business, and in media. That is why most of us, lahat ng academic papers are in English, not unless it is for Filipino majors. But all academic, English yan. Magre-research kayo, lalo si math and science, lalo si math, statistics, kailangan para kumita kayo ng perang malaki, statistics. Dapat aralin nyo ng bonggang-bongga. Okay? Kasi malaki ang kita ng stat, nasa 5,000, sayang yon. Okay? And also the science major, ayan, maraming pong magagandang lesson in science. Number 2, a variety of English held by many to be correct in the sense that it shows none of the regional or other variations that are considered by some to be ungrammatical or not standard. For example, sabi diba yung dialects. For example, ako sa Tagalog. So, ang Bulakenya may punto. Ayan, yung mga ganon. Wala yon. Hindi dapat lumalabas. When you speak in English, walang punto dapat. Kasi standard. Kaya sometimes, if you would like to, you should have a neutral accent talaga. Okay, so when you speak in English, you don't need to be British, American, not unless it is required, but rather, tatanggalin natin yung ano. Kasi yung mga bata, especially for example, yung Kapampangan kasi minsan they have sometimes yung mga tiga-Hagonay Kapampangan, yung mga nandun sa area ng Bulacan na malapit, minsan may tono sila na sometimes some students find nakaka-sad kasi that's normal, but some parents, some students, they do not like that. Mamememohan ka, di ba ang gara? Kasi that normal naman. Kaya lang kasi we need to be informal. We need to be in standard. Standard dapat. Okay, number 3, the language most widely used, understood, accepted, and valued in any English-speaking country. So ito yon. The language that is especially important in written English, it contains uniform spelling, standard usage, conventional sentence, and paragraph structure, and consistent punctuations. Aside from that, the language easiest to recognize in print because written conventions are common worldwide. Nangyari? Okay, and number 6, it is used by educated people whose language conventions are respected and who carry on the important affairs in the world. So if you would like to be an ambassador, time will come, some of you would like to be an ambassador, senator, and everything. Even if you are Maka-Filipino, you need to know how to speak in English because you will talk to other people. And aside from that, math, science, America, and other outer circle, and also expanding circle, oy, kayo po ay, I'm happy to say that in demand ang math, science, English, and preschool sa ibang bansa. So, you have a very, very, very big opportunity. Now, let us now have the non-standard English. So, marami kayong sinabi kanina. Okay, so now let us check. A non-standard English is a variety of English that is marked incorrect because it does not follow rules and guidelines of standard English. Uses of non-standard English in formal or scholarly settings can damage your credibility, discredit the value of your message, and alienate your audience. So if you will be using this non-standard, sorry po. Okay, if you will use this non-standard English sa mga you should refrain from doing so. Okay? Here are the different characteristics of non-standard English. So, sorry. Okay, so number 1 is the language of the uneducated, loaded with grammatical errors, misspelling, misuse, punctuation, slangs, and cliche. So pag puro wrong spelling yan, it is under the non-standard kasi it's not standard. It's wrong. Okay? A variety of English characterized by grammatical features and vocabulary which are typical to a particular geographical area. That is why those non-standard English can only be accepted in one part. Kano ka magsulat hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, ganito ako, this is me. May ganun. Okay. Sa literature, pwede yon. But when it comes to non-fiction and also yung academic writing, hindi po pwede yon. Kailangan you use standard. Hindi ka pwede my writing, my rules. Walang ganon. Kailangan may tama. Okay. Next, number 3, a language that uses expressions and grammatical constructions not normally used by educated people. A variety of English that differs greatly from the standard. Kasi nga mali-mali. A language that contains greatly from the standard, a language that contains expressions usually taken in a sign of inferior social and academic background. So napaka-sad naman ng non-standard kasi hindi siya standard. Okay, so there are different varieties and registers of spoken and written language. So ito na yung tinatawag na slang, cliche, jargon, and sexist language. Actually, this is under the non-standard. Ano yun? 1. Actually, there are different styles of standard English. Okay, dun muna tayo. Bakit napagdara? We have This is the third lesson na. Third lesson na tayo. Okay, so bear with me. I'm really sorry. Malapit na tayo matapos. We have the formal English and informal English. Under pa din siya ng non-standard English. Okay. So when we say formal English, ito yung literaries. When we say literaries, it is remarkably influenced by reading, and ito yung nakafocus sa academic in style and more objective expression. So itong formal English, ito yung ginagamit sa academe. Again, academe. But when we say informal English language, hindi pa rin siya non-standard. Standard pa rin siya. Colloquial, which means it could be used in conversations, more relaxed and friendly tone, it's comfortable level of ordinary use in everyday conversation. It can still be standard, but informal. Okay. So, ito yung mga different common features of formal language. So, makikita natin kung bakit pwede. One, it uses appropriate capitalization, punctuations, mechanical devices, and abbreviations. Formal. So, kasi nga, may standard. Okay? It avoids shortcut constructions as I'll, it's, shan't, and the like, and abbreviations as prof, exam, lab, and the like. As you can see, if you will type in Microsoft Word, hindi pwede yung I'll, it's, shan't, and the like. Hindi pwede yan. Kahit nga yung that's, hindi pwede T-A-H-T apostrophe S. Hindi nga din pwede yun. That is. And that's why when you write an academic paper, you must avoid these things. Bawal din actually sa academic paper yung personal. More on academic paper is third person lagi. Aside from that, it avoids common colloquial expressions such as gonna, ain't, wanna, and like abbreviations. So, bawal yon. It uses denotative than connotative tone. When we say denotative, ang pinagkaiba niyan sa connotative is that the denotative is dictionary meaning. Connotative kasi is more on meaning in person. Okay, so anong sa tingin mong tama? No, we are using denotative dictionary. Now we are using the standard. It is impersonal. It avoids the use of first, second person. My dear students, ma'am, ang hirap naman pala nito. Kasi nga, this is for academic paper. Sobrang higpit academic paper. That's why it's formal. Pero, meron tayo ng common uses of language. Saan ba natin sila makikita? One, sa research papers, thesis, dissertation, formal reports, memorandum, literary criticisms, and serious essays, legal documents, and news stories. Official speeches and public notices, graduations, scholarly address, polite conversations with elder or important people. So, yun po natin makikita to. Kaya nakikita natin, limited lang naman talaga ang pinagagamitan ng standard. But now, let us have the common features of informal language. So, what is that? One, it contains short words and simple sentences, often in fragments. Number two, it is heavily loaded with contractions and colloquial expressions. And number three, it is marked by popular words such as okay, yeah, and stuff like. And idioms and occasionally slang expressions like it's raining cats and dogs. Okay, sa academic paper, hindi pwede yun. Okay, hindi siya pwede. Pang-informal lang siya. Now, there are different common features of informal language. One, it's light, chatty, writing for general readers. Two, conversation of educated people if when they are at ease. For example, this one, actually, ito medyo informal English ang gamit natin because this is slightly informal, this is slightly relaxed than magpe-present kayo ng thesis. Okay? So, novels and short stories, they're still following the standard English, standard punctuation and everything, but they are using words that is not so serious. Okay? Kasi nga, you are imitating conversation. But that doesn't mean that the sentences must be wrong. Okay? Email addresses, sometimes, especially if it is for your colleagues. But if this is for your bosses, reports, email, hindi pwede. Club meetings is also nice because especially, ikaw yung magre-record ng, if you will be the one who will record the minutes of the meeting, and classroom discussions like this one, showbiz and comic strips is also that alike. Now, let us now discuss slang. Slang is common, informal, spoken, and written language. Samples are cheesy, dude, nuts, address, email address. So those are the different words. Aside from that, we have cliche. Refers to the overused and worn out expressions. It consists of once well-loved idioms na sawag-sawa na tayo ngayon. But because they have been used so often and so carelessly, wala na siyang meaning. Okay, so that is the reason why it's cliche. It's too much. Nakakasawa na siya. Cliche. Okay. Another, it suggests mental laziness, uncertainty, and lack of originality because you keep on using these words. Kasi if you keep using these words and you're not changing any words, it means na tamad ka mag-isip. Kasi you need to think of something, study more, magtingin ka ng different dictionaries. There are some words too that you could use in English. Nakamukha nun. You could use the thesaurus, you could use other things so that it won't be cliche. Hindi siya paulit-ulit. Examples are apple of my eye, by hook or by crook, once upon a time. Last but not the least, better late than never. Okay, so yun. At saka yung pagkanta ni Justin Bieber na never say never. Tapos ang daming never. Okay. Cliche na yun. Then just kidding. But anyway, those kind of things, diba, pag pinagsusulat kayo, kaya lang wala kasi kayong, you will write a story. Wala nang once upon a time, panahon pa nila Beauty the Beast. Yun eh. Iba na ngayon. Pinalitan noong unang panahon. Yan, di ba? Alam mo, pag noong unang panahon, matagal na eh. No? Okay, so, cliche na siya. Next is jargon. Now, it is also called gobbledygook. It's language used by groups that have similar interests like professions, trades, and sports. Now, bakit siya nagiging non-standard? Sorry, overtime na ako. Okay, bakit? Malapit na tayo matapos. Bakit siya nagiging non-standard? Sometimes, for example, I will use my father. Jargon. Kasi sila, my father is a seaman. Tapos sabi niya, pag tinatanong, saan na kayo? Sabi niya, underway na kami. Huh? Dati na, underway? What's that? That is what they use sa barko, which is not the real thing. On the way, dapat. Diba? So, sometimes, some professionals use jargon na related sa kanila. That is informal. Kasi kapag kunwari ang basis natin is the everyday conversation. Aside from that, two nurses or two medical practitioners said that's very toxic. The ano is toxic. Sa atin, ang toxic, yung toxic na katrabaho, toxic na teacher, toxic na klase. At sa kanila, yun toxic. Yes, may sarili per group. Very good. So, yun yung jargons na tinatawag. Each area may mga jargons. For example, sa medical field, ayan, may jargon sila dyan. Sa chef, sa food and beverages industry. Yun. Yes, ayun, very good, Desiree. So, each professions have different languages acceptable to them. Now, when will this be wrong? If you will use it para sa ibang tao na hindi naman part nun, that would be a jargon. Hindi po yun, for example, ginagamitan kayo ng mga ganon, hindi po yun pagtataas sa sarili. That is wrong. Ginagawa kanila, sorry for the word, ginagawa kanilang tanga na gumagamit sila ng high-valuing words. That's not good. That's not good because this is not the place that you should use these words. Okay? They are wrong. They're informal. Okay? And if people will use that intentionally to degrade other people, they are very insensitive. Okay? Mind that. Okay? Next, language. Alam niyo na yan. Sexist language. This is actually very new. Hindi siya new, but this is very, very good for our month. Female, female month? Nakalimutan ko yung tawag doon. Okay, women month? Hindi ko alam. Okay. Language that discriminates women. It refers to the use of masculine noun or pronoun to be generic, meaning it applies to both masculine and feminine genders. I'll give you an example. Before, there's a rule. For example, yun, sa mga, if the person, di ba, sa rules to, sa grammar rules to, if the person is not stated, the gender of the person is not stated, you will use man. Okay? So, do sa part na yun, it's sexist kasi uh, na-consider lang yung tao as male. So, yun. Pero ngayon, because of that, hindi na gano'n ang rule. So, ngayon, pag nagkakaroon ng entrance exam, he dash she, him dash her na siya. Hindi na siya yung him lang, hindi na siya yung her lang. Okay, so napalitan because of sexist language. Aside from that, may isa pa. Sa kasal, I now pronounce you man and wife. Tapos marami nagagalit doon. Ano to? Ano, parang aso lang daw yung babae, man, as wife. So parang ang nangyayari is yung man na parang ang taas, tapos wife, parang talagang babang-baba ka lang. So, that is right. That's now, ang ginagawa na pare ay now pronounce you husband, wife. So, equal na sila, na pareho na silang tao. Parang ganon. So, that's an example of sexist language. If, for example, maka-masculine, gagawin natin siyang neutral so that it will be easier and wala tayong mababiolate. Okay? Its use of exclusive pronoun as he of all genders. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa kanya. Okay. So, ang kagandahan yan, increasingly, dictionaries are now using this one. So, this is a good step for us. Okay, so that's all for today. For your last recitation, pasensya na, akala niyo makakawala kayo sa akin. Now, I would like to ask, before you leave this room, I want you to write down, chat your reflection. Okay? So, ako ang mahuhuli. And I want you to, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? Okay? Okay? So, after that, after typing your responses, please leave the room. So, goodbye, everyone. See you next meeting. I'm sorry po, nag-advance tayo ng 8 minutes. Okay? Bye-bye. I'll be reading your comments. Happy dinner. Okay lang ba yung mga tiga-sulat ng recitation? Si Joy Ann, tsaka si Jewel, na-record po ba?
Opo, naka-note na po.
Okay, very good. So this is the last one. Di ba kayo nahirapan na dalawa o familiar na kayo sa voice ng classmates nyo? Di ka ba nahirapan na may math at may science?
Hindi naman po kasi po may name naman po.
Okay. How about dun sa ano? Sa... Pero chinek mo at, I mean, yung sa tawag dito, nag-ano sila? Yun, nag-on ng mic, na-record mo yun?
Opo.
Okay, sige. Very good, Joy Ann. So, sana yung, sino nga ulit? Hindi ko pa kabisado yung pangalan. Si Jewel din, sana nakapag-record para hindi na siya babalik. Okay, so I'm waiting. Very good, Jewel. Okay, now I'm waiting for the rest of the class. Before you leave, I want you to type, what did you learn today? Okay. So may mga sagot na. I learned about how are we going to use different languages to correct every pronunciation and also the difference of standard and non-standard. I learned today what is the real difference between standard. Okay. I learned there's a lot of English terminologies that I didn't know about. Very good. There are different varieties of English, may jargon. Very good. I learned today lesson is how to use English for communication. Okay, very good. Ay, nakalimutan ko mag-take ng picture. So, sleeping. Okay, so kindly turn, for those who would like to, kindly turn on their mic, no, their camera so we could take picture for record purposes. Okay, wow, Miti, saan ka sa McDo, Trisha?
Sa NLEX po, ma'am.
Ay, sosyal. Makikita ba kita doon pag pumunta ako?
Kailan po ba?
Bakit? May ano ba? May palibre ba? Depende. NLEX pala siya. Okay, sige. I'll take picture na. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Salamat po ha. Okay, so those students already done, you can start.
Thank you po.
Bye-bye. Lahat ng tapos na at nakapagsagot na.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you po, ma'am. Happy eating.
po, ma'am.
Happy eating din.
Ma'am,
Yes.
yung sa recitation po,
Yes.
paano po kapag ka po na-double po yung recitation nila, ilalagay pa din po?
Paano na doble?
Yung nakapagsagot na po sila ng una, tapos magsasagot pa po ulit.
Magkaiba? Hindi. Magkaibang tanong? Hindi.
Magkaibang tanong po.
Oh, yes, kasama yun. Pag magkaibang tanong, oo. Pero pag pareho ng tanong, follow up na lang yun. So, kung gaano kadami na, for example, di ba na-record mo kung ilan ang tanong ko ngayon? Tama po ba? Ulit yung pangalan niya. Para kay Joy Ann and Jewel, nakailang tanong tayo for today? Joy Ann and Jewel, nakailan akong recitation ngayon?
4 po ata.
4.
4 or 5 po.
Okay, so sa 4 or 5 na yun, dapat lahat sila nakapagsagot. So either turn on ng mic or nag-chat. Kasi bibilangin din natin kung ilang beses sila nag-turn on ng mic. Pag nakalima na sila, may plus 5 sila sa midterm. Kaya ako tinatanong. Kaya lang. Pero sa inyo, pag marami kasi sa inyo na nakapag-recite na madami, no? So, kaya mo na, pag tapos na sila, hindi na sila mag-turn on ng mic. Pero kasi ang pag-turn on ng mic is 5 points. Basta nag-chat is 4 points. Pero ano yun, maximum of 4 points. So, pag kunwari, 3 lang nasagutan, 3 points lang sila. Basta humahabol sila, walang problema. Kaya nga tinatanong ko kung nare-record. Yung kagaya nito, yung mga nasa dulo, nare-record niyo po ba?
Thank you po, ma'am.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ma'am, yung sa attendance po, doon na lang po ako mag-base sa sinend ko po sa GC po na ano.
Na attendance?
Opo.
Nag-check ka ba ng attendance?
Opo.
Hindi na, okay lang kahit wag ka mag-check ng attendance. Ang importante sa akin, yung nag-participate.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Basta nag-participate sila.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you po.
Bye-bye. Ikaw pala yan si Mark. Kamusta dyan? Kamusta ang panahon diyan?
Nasa bahay po ako ngayon, ma'am. Off po ako
Nasa
ngayon.
bahay ka. Mag-off pala kayo, no?
Di po, 6 to 6 ang duty po.
Okay. Kasi sabi ko, parang hindi naman nag-off ang guard. May off ba kayo? Wala, di ba?
Wala po, kahit po bumagyo,
diba?
lumindol, bumaha, may gera, may raya.
Alam ko walang off ang guard. Ano lang talaga, duty lang. Kaya lang, nagkaka-off ka lang pag nagta-24 hours. Tama ba?
Minsan po, hindi pa rin po eh. Nilalagay na lang po sa madaling duty or sa hindi masyadong stress na pwesto para medyo hindi siya makapagpahinga pa rin po.
Okay. Kasi sa CEO kasi, yung isang guard na nakita ko, bakit 24 hours ako ngayon? Antok na siya ng umaga. Umaga pa lang, antok ka na. 24 hours pala. Kaya pala hindi nag-off.
Yes, ma'am. Kahit nga po, ma'am, nilubog na yung BS natin pa rin po
Bye-bye, Brian. Oo nga. Nako. Ganun talaga.